Mucklick here, and I make concise, spoiler-free game reviews that help you decide if you want to buy something without spoiling the game for you. This is Lords of the Fallen, an action Souls-like game. It is available on PC, PS5, Xbox SS, and is rated M for mature. In full disclosure, I received this game for free as part of my work, but the goal of this review is to determine whether or not this game is worth its $60 price tag to you. The game setting with no spoilers beyond the tutorial. There are beings who call themselves Dark Crusaders who do battle with demons. They each have one of these lamps, allowing them to harness the power of the Umbral, which is like another darker version of the world. In the opening of the game, one such Dark Crusader knows he is about to be killed and doesn't want the lamp taken, so he sends it off like a Green Lantern ring to find a new wielder. It finds its way to you, and you make your character. You now find yourself a target for the demons and the Umbral monsters anytime you peek into the Umbral world. You can use this new power to help the Dark Crusader save the world, help destroy the world, or anywhere in between. The general gameplay. You design your character from a few presets, but you are not tied to them. Most characters can be considered to be one of the following: strength-based, dexterity-based, inferno magic, which is fire stuff, radiance magic, which is like holy stuff, or umbral magic, which is a combination of the two. Think of it as spooky stuff. You can make hybrid builds, of course. I started as an inferno mage and gradually grew to love radiance magic as I played, and was playing like a paladin by the end of my playthrough. Most Souls-like rules do apply here. As you kill enemies, you collect vigor, which is this game's version of souls, and if you die, you drop it. If you spend it on a level up or improving gear, you lock it in and it cannot be lost. Resting at a vestige, which is this game's bonfires, respawns all of the non-boss monsters in the world. In combat, you can utilize dodge, blocks, or parries to avoid damage while using your chosen combat style to lower the enemy's health. If you die in the real world, you are put into the Umbral world. You can also enter the Umbral world at any time with your lamp. While in Umbral, your existence gain keeps increasing, but once you've been in there too long, a red reaper spawns that is incredibly strong and begins to chase you down. If you die in the Umbral, you will drop your vigor and you are sent back to the respawn. Sometimes the Umbral side of the world will have bridges or open gates, where the real world does not, so you will have to shift back and forth with the lamp to progress through the game. With its increased experience and non-stop spawning mobs, the Umbral is a sort of higher risk, higher reward version of the world, yet going into it is required at some points to progress. How much playtime can you get from this game? Lords of the Fallen took me about 36 hours of gameplay for the first playthrough. As with most Souls-likes, if you struggle on the bosses, this number can vary greatly. Once you finish and get one of the endings, there are more than one, you can unlock New Game Plus mode and reset the world to continue your journey at any time you wish to do so. Comparisons to other games. I've played many Souls-like games: Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, Steel Rising, Lies of P, and this game fits into the category in an interesting way. I found the bosses in this game far easier than most of those titles, except maybe Steel Rising, but the open world much more deadly. Unlike all of those games, this game has the potential for endless mobs to spawn while in the open world if you're in the Umbral, and sometimes you have to be in the Umbral to proceed. This can really slow you down, and after being in the Umbral too long, Red Death starts chasing you down. This felt the opposite of most other Souls-likes, where the world has its dangers, but the bosses were far, far more dangerous by comparison. The details. Graphics. The graphics of the game definitely shoot for a dark and gritty theme, with the Umbral side seeming to approach something akin to a Land of the Dead. The detail was absolutely stunning, to the point that my video card was struggling, probably from trying to keep track of both of the worlds no matter where you go. I'll come back to this. Sounds and music. The sound design was fantastic, with every area and boss having their own scores. It always felt like it improved the ambience, never taking away from it. Controls. Lords of the Fallen can be played with a controller or with mouse and keyboard. I played it on mouse and keyboard and definitely had some problems. First off, you can rebind anything you want, which is fantastic. However, some of the things you want to do require 3 keys to press, which is insane. So no matter how you rebind them, it takes 3 keys. Example, you press 1 to select lamp, or 2 to select your ranged item or spell item, then you hold control to lift it into the air, then press either left click, right click, Q, 1, 2, 3, or 4 to use an ability of that item. So if you are in a fight and have the lamp selected and you want to shoot a single arrow or spell, you have to press 2 control left click. You also could not hotkey multiple weapons or multiple ranged items to swap between them. If you have a holy casting focus equipped and want to cast a fire spell, you have to go into your inventory and manually swap the equipment to do it. You cannot hotkey both focuses. There are rings which allow you to cast spells from another school of magic, but the game has less ring slots than most Souls-like games do, so it feels punishing to do this. Saving system. Like most Souls-likes, the game saves most of your progress as you take down big targets or rest at a bonfire-esque checkpoint. Lords of the Fallen does have the unique ability to create your own checkpoints in specific areas. When you find a flower bed, if you have a vestige seed, you can make a smaller version of the bonfire there. You can only have one of these, so if you make another one, it replaces the previous one. The trade-off for this seems to be that Vestiges are much farther apart than Bonfires were in other Souls-like titles. Content creator concerns? None. I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch and uploaded the entire thing to our Muckluck Plays YouTube channel and did not experience any muted VODs or have any issues with copyright claims. Do I have anything negative to say? As constructively as possible, yes. First is the hotkey issues mentioned earlier. The target lock in this game is without a doubt the most temperamental I have ever seen. It would often target things 100 feet behind the guy in front of me swinging at me, or simply whip me around 180 degrees for no apparent reason when I tried to use it. The lock-on system gave me problems my entire playthrough. For some reason, with one-hand attacks, your swings bounce off of walls, which feels normal, but two-hand attacks can slice right through concrete. So if you were in a tight corridor, you could just swap to a two-handed grip and pretend the walls are not there. The ability to respecialize and try other builds is available to you very early in the game, but requires an item that I only found one of in my entire playthrough. The game needs to have more of these available for people to try various builds out. More than any other Souls-like I've ever played, I had to Google where things were many times. I would have never found the Fire Mage trainer without looking it up. There is no in-game map, and you often have to go back 3 areas and go into the Umbral to find the 4th door on the right to open a path to a new region. I completely missed the blacksmith on my playthrough, who you have to find and rescue before they join you, so I couldn't upgrade anything in my playthrough until I saw online where I had missed them. Pop-up messages are tied to locations, not events. So if you re-enter an area with a pop-up tutorial, it will keep jumping up and getting in the way of combat forever in that location. Simple lag. In many areas, I had lag spikes, stuttering, and frame drops. Based on the recommended settings for the game, I should have been able to run it on high settings, not quite ultra, but I set everything to low and I still had issues. One region with a burning city gave me constant FPS drops, I presume due to all the flames. Other areas seemed to lag spike me at random, I would presume due to the game having to render both worlds at all times. The final boss. I won't show any footage of it so as to not spoil the fight, other than to say it was the most underwhelming boss of any Souls-like I have ever played. Like, it wasn't even an actual boss, you just fight a bunch of weak monsters while a conversation plays out that you can't pay attention to because you're fighting a bunch of stuff. Final thoughts. Lords of the Fallen was a fun game. I enjoyed it enough to play through it all the way to the end. The world was incredible, with huge build customization that I really loved. At another time, I could see myself playing this game over and over, as I did with Dark Souls 3, trying different builds out. But due to the long list of problems ranging from controls to gameplay to performance issues, I have to currently say that in my opinion, Lords of the Fallen is not worth it. Yet. If they can fix these issues, it will be a fine addition to the Souls genre, but definitely check the recent reviews before picking it up to confirm that they've added some polish since the time I played it if you're watching this review in the future. This video was not sponsored, so if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to see more of my own playthrough of Lords of the Fallen, I'll include a link to that playlist from our other channel down below. Subscribe there too. As always, a massive thank you to our dear patrons who make content like this possible. If you'd like to become a supporter and earn early access, there's a link to that in the description. Happy gaming.